All right, so this was a whole lesson on variables, and I played around with it. And again, worth repeating, a variable is a container for a value, a reusable container for a value. And there are four basic types of values. I think there are actually more, but there are four basic types: string, integer, float, and boolean. And a variable always behaves as if it is the value it contains, right? So let's look at the different types of values. The first one, a string, is simply a sequence of characters, and they are treated like text. And the characters can also contain numbers, so it could be, you know, and it could also be, let's name this one, I don't know, just something, Tari, no meaning, equals, and then if we put it here, this is a number, but because it is in quotation marks, it is actually a string, and it will not be treated as a number but as a string. Then the second type is integers, and integers are numbers, and you can use them like numbers in calculations, but they're only whole numbers. Never put them in quotes, otherwise it would turn them into strings, like here, and then we could not use them in calculations, for example. But these are all integers: age 99, quantity 3, number of students 30, right? So whatever variable we have, if we want to assign it a number, we can do that by simply entering the number. Floats are numbers that contain a decimal portion. So for example, if we have something that has a price of 10.99, that could be a float. A pi could be a float. Important again, no quotation marks around it. Sorry, the pi as a number used to calculate size of a circle. Booleans are binary, so it's an either or. Either the statement is true, which is like yes, or the statement is false, which is like no. So for example, I'm not a student. Well, I am a student of Python. In that way, I am a student, so it's true. And is rodent is false. I'm not a rodent by any definition. So if we do this, print, and then we do a f string again, are you a rodent? And then we can do here is rodent, and then is rodent will be output as false, and we can see, let's quickly run this again. Are you a rodent? False. This would be the output of this, right? Print f string, the price is $, and then in curly brackets the price variable, and then it would be this. And then we can, of course, because if it's an f string, we can actually create a nice string here. So in this case, the output would be the number pi is 3.14159 plus a lot more digits that I don't recall, right? And then we have this entire thing here. So of course a string. Print you are h years old. This is the output because the variable h is defined. Where did I define it? Here, right? 99. You are buying 3 barbecue chickens. So let's look at that. Print f string you are buying, and then the quantity variable, which in this case is an integer, and then food variable, which in this case was barbecue chicken, right? And then I added an s because we're talking plural here. Now, of course, if I would change the quantity here to 1, it wouldn't make sense. So you're buying 1 chickens. So obviously this is not the way of a master programmer, but for my purposes of practice, it's fine. What else do we have? The rodent, the price, you are 8 years old, you're buying, your class has, number of students, which again is this integer here, students. Then we have here print first name, And then we have this example again, which I had before already. We had this, we already walked through this in the previous video, and then here we have this. Oh, I think here would be a missing space sign, so let's see. Labor, DULab, BBT, yeah, I see. Here's the missing space sign. So it's important to pay attention to these things. Let's run it again. Print email, the email we had defined earlier up. Then we have if-else statements. So this makes sense in combination with booleans. So if for sale is false, then if for sale, print that item is for sale. So this would be if I would write true here, but because this is not true, it's false, it will execute the else statement. So that item is not for sale. And we have this here, that item is not for sale. Here we have is online is false. If is online is true, then print your online, else print your offline. And in this case, because it's false, it outputs here your offline. And here we have earth flat is false. If earth flat, print flat, else print round. So because earth flat is false, it prints round. And then we can combine these 4 types of values into a one kind of statement, right? So again, we have string, integer, float, and boolean. And I did that with this. And then the output was Eberhard is, so Eberhard is a string, is 99 is a integer, he is old and only remembers the digits 3.14159. This is the float of the number pi. He believes that the earth is round, and now this is a boolean, right? And the way I did this here is then curly bracket flat, so output flat if earth flat, right? If earth flat, so if this would be true, it would output flat here, else round. So because earth flat is false, it will execute the else, or it will output the else, which is round. Now if I would change this to be true, and I run it again, and we have he believes that the earth is flat. And that's the, all I have to say about variables for today.